Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Hope you're doing well. Do you like baseball? Like love baseball? I think I've been to maybe 3 games in my whole life. 3. We have the Toronto Blue Jays, and apparently my loving American friends forget that there's a Canadian team, and apparently they're doing very well right now. In July, August 2025, they're doing quite well. And apparently they're on a good track to win the games and win the awards, right? So there's a different type of baseball, though, that's really captured my attention. Because according to the author of the book and the creator of this said baseball thing, baseball is slow and boring. Now, I'm sorry, if you love baseball, then you're not going to agree with that statement, and you probably just threw something in my general direction. But Jesse Cole created this thing called the Savannah Bananas, which is always fun to say out loud. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Savannah Bananas. It's fun to say, and it's fun to watch. It's a baseball team that's turned into a movement, and something that started with very humble beginnings, just a husband and wife selling their house to make this dream come true, sleeping on an air mattress in a cockroach-infested house to make this happen. When everybody said it wouldn't, it did. And there's a great book that I'm reading right now, and again, everybody who knows me is rolling their eyes because I've already told you about this many times. It's called Fans First, based on the true story of the Savannah Bananas. Change the game, break the rules, and create an unforgettable experience. For podcasters, even though it's kind of talking about baseball and creating something from scratch, you need to either listen to the audiobook or buy the copy of the book. And I have it right here in front of me. It is outstanding. This will give you so many things that you can apply to your podcast and will open your creative mind for your show. And in this book, Jesse talks about the Savannah Bananas 5 E's, the letter E, 5 E's that we can apply and carry over to podcasting. So I want to break down the 5 E's with you and talk a little bit of bananas. I think you're going to find this episode appealing. And before you split on me, oh gosh, stick around because we're gonna peel open, and discover more about Fans First and the Savannah Bananas 5 E's here on the How to Podcast series. Let's step up to the plate. It's time to hit a home run. Here we go. So the Savannah Bananas break a lot of traditional rules, which makes me really happy because, rules are made to be broken, I guess. And in podcasting, rules are made to be broken. When you talk to a guru who tells you, I have these 10 rules, this you have to follow this path, this is the right way, and you're like, no. Yeah, because they're gurus. That's what they do. They want to sell you something. They want you to buy their software, their program, their coaching. They're gurus. A little bit slimy sometimes, these gurus. And they show up with rules. And the Savannah Bananas, they just break rules like taekwondo boards at training practice. Just, hi-ya, right? They're just breaking these things constantly. And that's what I think we need to do in podcasting, is break some rules around here, people. So these rules, they don't stand a chance around the Savannah Bananas. We need to think differently around podcasting and how to make our podcast stand out. And that's by not living by the rules, first of all. So these 5 E's, first is we need to eliminate friction.
Strike one!
As podcasters, we got to remove these barriers. Okay, they're everywhere. And they're barriers set up again by gurus who are maybe well-intentioned, but in the long run, they just want you to podcast the way they podcast because that's the only way they know how. And if you don't do it their way, you're doing it the wrong way. And then in that, you have gatekeepers. Gatekeepers keep people out of podcasting. And then here we are creating a show called the How to Podcast series where we take those gates down, those barriers down. That's my full-time job. I feel like I just put out spot fires everywhere in podcasting. Oh, you got to do it this way or you're a terrible human being. No, we don't need that. We don't need that at all. We need to remove the barriers in podcasting and make it difficult for you and your audience to engage with your show, engage with your listeners, all of these things that set themselves up as blockages for you as a podcaster. We need to eliminate the friction. Now, friction in itself isn't a bad thing. If you've ever been stuck in the snow, I live in Canada, that happens often, we need traction. And how do you get traction to get out of the snowbank? You need friction. Where does friction come from? Some sand, some ice. We have lots of ice going on here, so we need something like sand or, something that will give us some leverage and get us moving. A tow, somebody to pull us out of the ditch. But we need friction. We need something that the tires can grip onto to give us traction to get out of a bad situation. So not all friction is bad. Keep that in mind. But when friction stops something from moving forward, then that's bad. And we need to be careful with that. So we need to get rid of any type of friction that keeps our audience from listening to our show, engaging with our show, sharing the podcast. We want to make it super easy. So some things for you to think about. For your show's podcast, for your podcast website, to make your episodes easy to find and easy to play right from your website, whether that's a link out to the platforms. I would encourage you to have more than just an Apple link, everyone, because not everybody, including me, uses Apple. So your Apple links don't work for us. So make sure you have an Android version. And if you're an Android person, make sure you got an Apple link. Have at least those two options on your podcast. I like Podlink, pod.link, or episodes.fm. These are ways for you to share the show and give people the choice of where they want to listen. That's another way to do that. So eliminate friction. Can they find your show? As well, also simplify your call to actions and your options for subscriptions and following your show. Make it super easy. Don't have 15 calls to action. People will not pick one because there's too many to pick from. Have one. So if you have social media, just put all the links to your social media on your website and send people to your website. Everything's there. You don't have to name off all of the other places you are. Just send them to one home. And the best choice that I've found is my own website, howtopodcast.ca. Also, reduce any unnecessary complexity to how your episodes are built or how you do your show or your show notes. Make things super easy. Reduce the friction, and it'll help you. That's the first of the 5 E's for fan-driven podcasting. The second is entertain always.
Strike 2!
What does this mean? Entertain always as a podcaster? Prioritize the listener's experience by keeping every episode engaging and enjoyable, thoughtful, informative, value-packed. Entertain. You are more than just somebody talking into a microphone. You are a performer. You need to step it up a little. If you're kind of a quiet person like me, you got to turn up the Dave just a little bit, because to be a little more animated is a little more it brings people into your story and your conversation instead of being monotone and sounding like you're reading an audiobook. Podcasting is different. You need to entertain. You need to perform. And if you're not good at this, then try like an improv class. Go and get taught how to think on your feet. It'll help you so much in your podcast. So how do we apply this part to our podcast? Well, first we got to inject some personality in what would we do. Some of our stories, some humor, make people laugh, make people think, make people respond emotionally. And add this to your episodes. Avoid boring, monotone delivery. If your podcast sounds like this and you never go up or down, and all you do is talk in a very monotone, linear fashion, then when your listener presses play, they don't feel like they're talking to you on your podcast, and it feels very unassuming and very sleepy. And I'm starting to fall asleep right now, and I am out. Don't do that in your show. Be a little animated. Come on. Wave your hands around in the air. They can't see you on an audio podcast. Show up. Be you. Be a little bit more than you. Be you, the happy you, not the monotone, boring you. You got to step it up. You got to entertain always. And use creative formats like how you do your interview, catchy intros, immersive audio, little clip swipes, baseball call-outs, music from the organ at the ballpark. All of these things, and you're hearing some of it in this episode, are meant to kind of give some variety, break everything up into chunks, and help people stick with you longer. Do something creative. Keep people on their toes. Don't just hit record, post it, and go. Make sure you're doing something unique in your show. And remember that no matter what your topic is, the listener's enjoyment always comes first. We need to eliminate the friction. First of the 5 E's in a fan-driven podcast. We need to entertain always. Second E. Third E, experiment constantly. What does this mean? Well, embrace a mindset of ongoing innovation and being willing to try new things. If you've been podcasting for a while, you're probably stuck in a rut. And somebody told me the difference between a rut and the grave is the depth of the hole. So being stuck in a rut is not something to be proud of. It's something to get out of. So instead of being stuck in a rut, let's try these things. Try testing out some new segments, maybe a new format for your show, maybe different guest types, or change up your music. What does it mean to try different formats? Well, if you're an interview podcast, maybe a solo episode. If you're a solo podcaster, bring on a co-host. If you're a co-host podcast, then bring on an interview. Try shorter episodes, try longer episodes. Try breaking things up. And just be willing to play. Run with scissors. You have my permission. You will not break your podcast. What about running listener polls, getting feedback, and just get their ideas about what a good podcast would be from a listener's perspective? You might be too far in your head to even know what your audience wants. So ask them. Poll them, ask them questions, reach out to them, and get that feedback loop started. And learn from both your successes and your failures. Treat each experiment as an opportunity to grow your podcast. Some things are going to work, some things are going to fail miserably, but that doesn't stop you from moving forward. Experiment constantly. Another one of the 5 E's from the Savannah Bananas is to engage deeply.
Strike 3, you're out.
As podcasters, we need to create and build real, meaningful connections with your audience. How do we do this? Respond to any listener feedback, emails, and comments. If your podcast is on Spotify, and it should be, by the way, there are people commenting on your show. And you need to respond to every comment. I know, it's work, but it's meaningful work. And as you do this, it creates more engagement, and people now have a conversation with you around the episode. It is very rewarding. Do not let those messages go silent. Respond. Do it. I'm telling you, do it. Respond to them. When you get a DM from somebody, respond. When you get an email, respond. Create opportunities for your listeners to participate in the show, where they can ask questions, get shout-outs, community challenges, speak pipe messages, buying you a coffee. That's called engagement. And we need to facilitate that for our audience so that they feel like they're part of the show. You can go live with your show. You can have meetups. Like the How to Podcast series? Yeah, meetups. Virtual gatherings. You need to foster community. Listeners need to meet each other, not just you. They need to meet each other because they have something in common, and that's you and your show. It's amazing when they get to meet each other. The last in these 5 E's from the Bananas of Savannah I'm putting it backwards. The Savannah Bananas is empower action. As podcasters, we need to inspire our audience to take the next step, big or small, after listening to our show. How do we do it? Encourage your listeners to apply what they've heard on your show from each episode to their own lives, their work, their life. Encourage them to take action on what they've heard and invite them to join your online group. So for me, come join my meetup. It's completely free. Love to have you there. howtopodcast.ca. Invite them to subscribe to your show and follow your show. Why? So that you don't have to send a message out on social media. New episode just launched today. I know because I'm already subscribed and I've already got the notification on my phone. I don't need you to remind me. Now you can focus on the people who don't know who you are instead of the ones who already know, love, trust you, and follow your show. Focus on the people who don't know you. It really helps on social media and how you build your audience. And then as well, highlight any success stories from your community to motivate further action from your listeners. When somebody does something, when somebody responds, when somebody reaches out, celebrate them. Let people see you celebrate the listener. And by doing that, it'll encourage more people to respond and build more relationships within your podcast, simply by you celebrating any interaction from any listener, anytime, all the time. Do it and you'll see more. Don't do it and you'll see less. Keep that in mind. What's some high-level takeaways and some context for us to apply to our show? Here's some closing thoughts. You're out! These 5 E's that we've talked about here on the podcast, again, a recap from the Savannah Bananas. They're E's. We're applying them to podcasting, but eliminate friction, number 1. Entertain always, number 2. Experiment constantly, number 3. Engage deeply, number 4. And number 5, empower action. What do we do with these? Well, these 5 E's are a fan-first framework that will help you to prioritize and remove barriers, how to create joy and foster innovation and deepen your relationships by inspiring action from your audience. For podcasters, adopting this approach means shifting from traditional rule-bound methods from those gurus, and focusing more on listener-centric, dynamic, and growth for your podcast. I would love for you to assess your own podcasting approach. Which of these 5 E's can you implement and improve on right now? My challenge for you then is for your show is to pick that 1 E and focus on that for the next episode or the next week or the next month and make it your highest priority to develop that one of those E's. Once you feel like you're on a good path, then grab another E and then put that into your journey as well. Build your way through the 5 and then watch and measure your growth in the process. How will you play your own game in podcasting, and how are you going to put your fans first? I would encourage you, link in the show notes, to go grab Fans First by Jesse Cole. Change the game, break the rules, and create an unforgettable experience. It's the story of the Savannah Bananas. If you love audio, go grab the audiobook. If you love paperback books, grab the book. I have both because I love them both. And I would encourage you to go read this or listen to it and then start making notes and start applying them to your podcast today. You're going to come away with great knowledge, great wisdom, great ideas, and it will make your podcast better. Podcasting is not easy. It takes effort. It takes your attention. It takes skill, talent, ability, love, passion, and care. And if you think just turning on the mic is good enough, it's not. It really isn't. You got to build something here. So you need to invest in yourself. If you're not growing as a podcaster, your podcast is not growing. I can tell you that. And when people say to me, Dave, I want my podcast to grow, it's not growing, one of my first questions is, are you growing? And if it's like, well, no, I don't have time to grow, then your podcast doesn't have time to grow. So get your priorities straight. You need to be growing yourself. You need to be developing who you are, how you show up in this world, and learning. Once you're learning and you're on a path of learning and being creative, that's when your podcast grows. Okay, stop throwing money at a podcast that's not growing and stop trying to fix it with other ways. You need to grow first. So grab a copy of the book, read it from cover to cover, listen to the episode, listen to the audiobook. You need to spend some time working on you. Be selfish. By you growing, your podcast will grow. And in the process, you won't strike out. You will be living a life where fans are first. And your podcast grows. Thanks for being here. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to the end of the podcast. You're here with me. I'm so grateful. I want to put something in front of you. For the person that's listened this far, you're my new best friend. So what I'm trying to do every month is I have a goal, and you can help me with this goal. Very simple. What I'm trying to do is have 5 conversations this month with listeners of the How to Podcast series. You don't have to have a podcast to respond. This can be the first time ever that we're going to have a conversation, but I'm looking to talk to 5 people. Now, you're still here, so you're one of the people that I would love to talk to next. So on my howtopodcast.ca website is a calendar, and I'd love to have you respond on howtopodcast.ca. Just click the calendar link, set up time in my calendar, and in the comments section for the meeting, just put something like listener. That's it. If you have a show, put it in the comments too so I can go listen. But if you don't, I just want to talk to 5 listeners every month from now to the end of the month. So if you're listening to me right now, you're the person I want to talk to. And through howtopodcast.ca, you and I can get together, chat about the show, chat about your journey as a podcaster. Where are you at? What do you need the show to become for you? What's missing? Your feedback. I just want to meet you. And as podcasters, I would encourage you to do something similar to this in your podcast so that you can meet and interact with your audience. So, howtopodcast.ca, I'm looking to talk to 5 people every month, and I would love for you to be one of them. Reach out. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you at howtopodcast.ca. Let's get in the calendar and chat. Thanks for listening.